It is time to find out what happens when you put an Xbox SSD inside a PlayStation 5. Let's go. Hey friends, we're back with another video seeing how far we can push the limits of the M.2 slot here on the PlayStation 5. And in the last video, I tested out to see could I get an external PCI Express riser to work with something like an add-in card. And in case you haven't checked out that video, you should totally go watch it right up there. And in that video, I said that if we got 5,000 likes, which we have over quadrupled that at this point, I would buy an NVMe RAID card and then install that in here. That is not the point of today's video. This needs a little bit more troubleshooting before I'm comfortable releasing that video, but suffice it to say, you guys hit the mark. I bought the RAID card for $650. That video will be coming soon. Today's video is a little different. Instead of testing that out, I've got another experiment that I want to run, which is trying to see, can we get the Xbox storage to work on the PlayStation 5? What I have here is an M.2 to CF Express reader, which we're going to use to check out if the expansion card can work into the PlayStation 5. And after that, we're going to check out and see if the internal storage on the Xbox can actually work on here as well. And I'm only able to financially do this because number one, your support watching the last video, and then number two, because of today's video sponsor. Today's UFD Tech video is sponsored by Honey. These days, it feels like online shopping is the only real shopping that I ever do. I can't tell you how many boxes that I have. Just as a fun story, we had to call our local waste management and ask them to give us a second bin because we have so many boxes. It's not just online shopping, it's also like medical stuff that we're getting. But with all of that online shopping, that's where today's sponsor Honey comes in. It's the free browser extension that scours the internet for promo codes and automatically tests them when you're checking out. Honey's basically your online shopping best friend, making sure that you never get a raw deal. Here's how it works. You get Honey on your computer for free in 2 easy clicks. Then when you're checking out on one of its 30,000 supported sites, Honey pops up and all you have to do is click apply coupons. You wait a few seconds as Honey searches for coupons for that site, and if Honey finds a working code, you'll watch the prices drop. I've been buying a bunch of furniture and PC equipment to help get us rolling into the next stage of UFD Tech, and Honey has saved me at least $300 to $400 with all of the promo codes that it's applied over the past few months. And those of you who have already installed Honey using my link have saved over $54,000 in savings. Honey supports all kinds of retailers, from tech to gaming sites to clothing brands and even to food delivery. It's free and it works with whatever browser you use. So you can get Honey for free today by going to joinhoney.com/UFD Tech. That's joinhoney.com/UFD Tech, so they know that I sent you. Thanks, Honey, for sponsoring today's video. Big thanks to Honey. I really could not afford all of these hundreds of dollars, over $1,000 worth of parts in order to pull off these videos if it weren't for them. So to start off, we're gonna do the lowest risk experiment first, which is this M.2 to CF Express adapter with the expansion card. And the reason we're doing that is because I'm going to have to deconstruct my Xbox in order to pull the SSD out of this thing. But again, because I want to go low risk as possible, I'm going to pull it out of the Series S and not the Series X. As far as I'm aware, the only difference between these two devices is the capacity of the SSD, not the speed of the SSD. So hopefully that shouldn't affect anything. But if there is enough interest or clamoring in the comments, I suppose we could potentially do a Series X in the future as a follow-up. I'll leave a pinned comment in the video description. If that can hit, I don't know, 10,000 likes, then I'll go ahead and move with the Series X. If not, then I know that you guys are okay with the Series S. But the reason I want to hold off is because I'm actually a little afraid that if we initialize the SSD on the Xbox here on the PlayStation, it won't work in the Xbox anymore. So I think I'll have like a dead Series S at that point where I'll need a new SSD. That's a possibility. I'm not 100% sure. I'm just kind of experimenting and hoping to find out, just like you all are. And one more bit of housekeeping. UFD Media is still hiring in case you want to potentially work for us and you can come work for us here in the Pennsylvania area. You should apply at the link in the video description. And last little bit of housekeeping news. We have our 4th annual charity live stream coming up on October 6th. I'm going to be live streaming with 2 other SynGap dads, a drive from New York City to Los Angeles and what's known as the Cannonball Run in a Tesla Model X. We're going to be doing this in order to raise over $100,000 in order to hopefully at some point cure my son's rare disease. We're partnering with an organization that I care a lot about. Funds are going to go directly towards drug treatment, and we have massive giveaways coming. And when I say massive, I mean massive. This Intel 11900K system with an RX 6900 XT, $500 motherboard, $2,000 graphics card is going to be our grand prize. So stay tuned. We also have other PCs that we're going to be giving away, and we have some really amazing sponsors this year. It's going to be our biggest event ever. I'd love to see you there, so mark your calendars, October 6th through 8th. Without further ado, let's go ahead and start off by trying out this CF Express adapter. Now this one, I'm not 100% sure is going to work, mainly because this M.2 drive that I picked up is actually, as far as I could tell, PCI Express 3.0. And so even though technically, according to Microsoft specifications, the Xbox SSD is PCI Express 4.0, it might not actually work because it's only PCI Express 4.0 with 2 PCI Express lanes. But this is the only CF Express to M.2 adapter that I could find out on the internet. I could not find a PCI Express 4.0. The last time I said I couldn't find something, you guys were able to find it within an hour. So if you have a better suggestion that you want me to pick up, absolutely link it down below. But this is going to be actually fairly simple to do. We're just going to pop it into the M.2 slot, and then with the CF Express reader right there, we just insert the expansion card. And a little click, it's now in there. We're good to go. Turn on the portable monitor, turn on the PlayStation, and now is the moment of truth. Does this actually work? And there we have it. It says can't use the M.2 SSD insert in the expansion slot. It needs to be PCI Express Gen 4 or later, which I definitely know that this is Gen 4 according to the specifications. I really do think that it's possibly this extension card right here, that if this was 4.0, we might be able to get this expansion card from Microsoft to work, but it's not gonna work as it stands now. So now is the time to break down the Xbox and see not if the expansion card is good enough, but to see if the actual storage that Microsoft is shipping with the Series consoles is good enough for Sony. Only one way to find out. Let's get the Series S up in here. We've got that going. I've also got the iFixit SSD card replacement guide, just so I know exactly what I should be doing. So we need tweezers, a TR8 Torx, and a TR10 Torx, as well as a spudger in order to pull all of this off. Now the iFixit guide actually says that this is gonna take 40 minutes to an hour, and also one of the reasons why that I'm actually really nervous about this is because you have to actually remove everything in this console in order to access that SSD. So it's a little frustrating of a challenge, but I think I'm up to it, and we'll see if we can get this done. Microsoft seemingly does not want you messing with the internals of this console unless you're qualified to do so, which I'm not, but let's do it anyways. Off comes that panel. There's the heat shield right there. And I know that this isn't a tutorial or anything, but it's important that any deconstruction task like this, you make sure that you're keeping your screws, number one, separated, but also appropriately located so that you know exactly where they return to. These things are massive. Look at how long these boys are. Holy crap. Cool. All right, case off. We've got an exposed Series S right here. As much as I am a PC fanboy, Microsoft has accomplished a lot of good performance in such a tiny and discreet package. That's probably the thing I love most about the Series S and the Series X, is just the actual overall slimness and sleekness of their design. Also, another handy little trick is if you use the trays that come on the top of the iFixit screwdrivers, they're neatly partitioned so that you can just make sure you're keeping your screws in line. Flip it, lift this up. There we go. Now we have access to the internals, the metal casing. You're going away. Now we need to remove the power supply. Hopefully it doesn't shock me. That's pretty remarkable. It has this little thermal pad right here to help conduct some of that heat, I guess, off of this into the expansion card slot. That's where it's going. Neat. This is my first time tearing down an Xbox, so I'm loving this entire experience. But after all of those steps, we are still not to the actual SSD. This is ridiculous. Now there's a clip over here that I need to spudge out. Now it's time to remove the motherboard. Yay! Finally, holy crap. Wow, and there's the SSD. We finally got it. Holy smokes. That was, according to the iFixit guide, 21 steps in order to get to this SSD. Absolutely insane. It's this small little boy right here. This is a 512 gig. As far as I'm aware, based on everything I read, this should be identical to the one that's in the Series X, besides the capacity of this bad boy. And there we have their PCI Express Gen 4 x 2 SSD. This thing is tiny. If I could just show you this in comparison to the regular M.2 SSD, this is absolutely small. You can see why they did it. This is really intriguing how Microsoft assembled this. It's not terrible to repair or replace anything. It's just that since it's so compact, it's kind of crazy in order to get all of this done. So Now I don't need any of this. I don't need you anymore. And just to be clear, I didn't show this, but the Series S was fully functional. But now we need the PlayStation back. This thing goes right into the 2230 slot right down there. It's like Sony knew I would do this. It is time to find out what happens when you put an Xbox SSD inside a PlayStation 5. Let's go. It works. It recognizes it. Woo! Let's go. To use your M.2, you need to format it. I'm formatting it. Now the scary part is I don't know if I'm gonna be able to put it back into the Series S and get it to work, but now, oh man, I'm doing the unholy. Oh, it did the same thing! Oh, this happened last time! This is the same thing that happened the previous time where I tried to get the SSD to install on here. It got to like 13%, got hung up, and then completely shut down the PlayStation. And as far as I'm aware, this PlayStation's not coming back on. This thing is just, it's not gonna work. I wonder if there's like some protection here that means it's not gonna work. Thankfully, I had the experience of last time where I'm not necessarily worried that I bricked the PlayStation. I am slightly concerned that we may have done something to this SSD right here, but I'm really curious to see what's gonna happen now. Yeah, it's doing the same thing as last time where like the PlayStation is like powering down and powering up. Ooh, after the repair's complete. That is so much further than we got with the other one. I wonder if we might get a second chance. I'm so down for what's ever happening right now. Okay, PlayStation's back up. This did not happen last time. Let's go. To use your M.2, we need to format it. You know what? I'm in. Take two. Go. No, it's at 13% again. It's gonna crash. Isn't it? Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. Nope. It doesn't believe in itself. All right. That doesn't mean or without hope though. Again, just to take this to stupid lengths to see how far we can get this to go. I'm gonna hook up the M.2 to PCI Express. I'm gonna hook up the PCI Express back up to M.2. And we're gonna see if it's gonna make any lick of difference if we can potentially get it to work like this. I'm gonna wait for it to reboot, get the PlayStation logo back on, have it shut itself down, take that out, plug it in here. But Microsoft, they don't like this game that we're playing here. Or maybe Sony doesn't like it. I have the stupid idea that I should maybe plug this into a PC and try to format the SSD that way? That can't be a good idea. It is a good idea. I should try that. Let's turn off the PS5. Now let's go crazy with it. Do I expect this step to work? No. Do I want to try it anyways? Yes. We need to get some testing up in here. Now the reason I think this is happening is because Microsoft probably has some sort of ASIC built onto this SSD, which makes it so that the Microsoft console can actually initialize with this, and that it actually, doesn't want to be used on anything else. But we've got the power supply turned on so that we can power the SSD here, which is then being powered to here. We are not getting flashing lights like we normally do. So this is probably gonna be a bust, putting it on this card right here. But second step is I'm gonna stupidly try to format this SSD on a PC and see what happens. A problem occurred. System software reporting this error. No, do not report. I don't want them to know what I'm doing. Sony, don't watch these videos, all right? This isn't for you. This is for everybody else, okay? Don't talk to me about this. I know you don't want me doing this. This doesn't make no sense for your people, all right? Sony, stay out of this. You get no reports, and we get no SSD pop-up. That makes a whole lot of sense. Okay. All right, my friends, it's time to the PC. Okay, excuse the mess. This is my test bench area, and we have our upcoming 4th annual charity live stream that I'm busy preparing for. So like everything's in a bit of chaos right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and plug this Xbox SSD into a PC, see what happens. Let's turn this bad boy on. We've got my custom Hot News RTX 3060 right there. I'm actually really curious to see what happens when you plug this thing into a PC, because I have no idea. Reece, I'm filming. Leave me alone. Oh. Shut up. Okay, let's go ahead and go to disk management. Let's see what we pull up here. The drive is not showing up at all. We've got nothing. It's not popping up in Windows. Damn you, Microsoft. Let's see if it's popping up in the BIOS. It's not even appearing in the BIOS. Huh, I wonder if I plugged it in correctly. I'm gonna shut down the PC and try one more time. So if you look right there, I put the SSD in the secondary slot. Now I'm gonna go ahead and try to put it in the primary slot and see if that helps it out at all. Come here, Chad. Ow, crap. Don't say nothing, Reece. Out comes my Sprint Rocket 4. It's time to get rid of this guy. He's done. Take this Microsoft one. Let's slam it right in there. Bam. That's good to go. We have no boot options. It's not detecting a single dang thing. NVMe configuration, so it does see it. Okay, it's actually in there. It's seeing this drive, but it's not popping up for booting. Okay, that clearly didn't work, but again, this is one of those areas where I'm kind of out of my depth. If you have any suggestions on how I could potentially make this work differently, I would just appreciate any suggestions you might have. But we're not done yet, because actually now is the time to see, did I screw up my Xbox Series S by trying to format it on my PlayStation, or is it actually just fine and the protection's kicked in and everything's good to go? There's only one way to find out, and that's to find where I put all the screws. Okay, I've kind of seen this half done before, where somebody was able to like plug everything in and just kind of boot the Xbox without like fully setting everything back up. So I'm gonna try that and see if that works, because I don't really want to fully reassemble it only to find out that it's dead, because I'm not into that. So all we should technically need is the power button and everything else, and then I'll just turn it on, plug it in, all that. This is one of the riskiest things I've ever done, like a completely exposed Xbox just on my mouse pad. Oh, it probably needs the fan plugged in. I forgot about that. I feel like I should have this on a cardboard box. That would make a lot more sense. Oh, I'm hearing like a little noise. Like when I turn it on, I can hear like a little power supply noise. I suppose I should probably fully reconstruct it and then see if it's actually dead. But I actually saw this happen in a video by, I think it's Tronics Fix. I might be getting that wrong, but when he tried to put a random SSD into the Xbox, it did roughly a similar idea where it just refused to boot on. Okay, I think this is roughly assembled enough to actually be technically considered fully reassembled for the device. Like it shouldn't be able to detect whether or not the plastic cover is on. I don't think Microsoft's gotten that granular with anti-tamper protection on your device. Okay, HDMI plugged in, power cable up next, and then now moment of truth. Oh! Did it work? I heard the boom. Fan's not spinning. But are we in the Xbox? Come on, don't be like this. I heard you. All right, let me try that again. Oh, there we go. Light came on. Oh, it came back off. Oh no, like if you look right here on the Xbox, the light turns on and then it turns off. All right, I have a dead Series S. That makes sense. That's kind of what I was expecting going into this. I told my kids I actually was gonna do this, and they were a little disappointed, but thankfully, because of you guys supporting all of the other videos that we have, today's video sponsor, Honey, don't forget to check them out at the link in the video description. I'm able to do this. I'm not going to do this with the Series X, so ignore that comment earlier in the video. Not even gonna try it, because maybe if we get 20,000 likes, do you guys wanna see me break my Series X? I guess, I don't know. My goodness, if anybody can point me to where I can get a replacement SSD for my Series S, that'd be great. I'd love to fix it and have it up and running again. I can't really find that on eBay. Is there like some parts store that I'm supposed to be looking at? Just let me know down in the comments if you wouldn't mind. So that's what happens when you try to put your Xbox SSD into your PlayStation 5. Bad things, don't do it. I did it so that you don't have to. Nobody else in the world now has to experiment with this at all whatsoever. Don't forget that UFD Media is hiring, and on October 6th through 8th, we have our upcoming charity live stream where we try to raise funds in order to cure my son's rare disease known as SYNGAP1. We're going to be driving from New York to LA nonstop live stream in order to represent the endurance that it takes to raise a child with epilepsy as well as various other special needs. So thank you so much for tuning into this. I hope I see you at that charity stream. And with that being said, friends, I'll see you in the next UFD Tech video. Cheers.